I perceive that people see consistency as a mark of trustworthiness, which I think is completely and entirely backwards from what would actually be more trustworthy. Yeah, sure, there are like baseline factors about life that don't really change that much, and in that case, yeah, consistency is great. But things like political ideologies, beliefs, ideas about social structures, etc. Sometimes like lifestyle choices, religions, that kind of thing. Those things are inherently ever changing and should be deconstructed and reconstructed as new information is ebbing and flowing and arising at different times. So how can I trust somebody who is robotically consistent when the times have changed? It's like a old phone that's not updating the system to the new ways. I do get it. There's attachments, there's desire to keep to stability and old things that worked at one point, but if you are so stuck and so attached, then you're actually not delving into the truth of the present moment, and you're not able to be responsible in the way of responding to the necessities that arise around you, because you're stuck in a belief system looping and looping and looping. That's not now when I say like that's not trustworthy, it doesn't mean I don't like you. I mean, I love people like this too. Like I just don't know. I like there's certain things you can trust certain people with, and the people I find the most dependable are the ones who are inconsistent and have a level of neuroplasticity and intelligence and changeability in their beliefs constantly. Because the only thing that is consistent is change, and the only thing changing is consistency. And so this also comes into play and into question of why, like, how much do I trust myself? How much can you trust yourself? And maybe the things that you consider to be trustworthy, you might want to reconsider them, in fact. I mean, like, the norm is to trust what doesn't change. But if you're trusting what doesn't change, you're setting yourself up for like this slow, long, death-like decomposure and stagnancy of like a pool of water that just starts to get all this gross disease instead of a flowing river that's moving with everything and responding and flourishing and making things grow, you know? So I mean, like, we think of trustworthy as like routine, like super rigid, but actually, what if trustworthiness that you need to find in yourself is rather the opposite of that? And then along with that, people who contradict themselves from, like, you might watch one video and they say something completely opposite to something they said before. Well, that's responding to new information. That's changing your beliefs with new information. If you're not changing your beliefs with new information, something is wrong. I'm sorry. Not that I don't understand the desire to stick to old beliefs that are not working, because, man, have I really experienced that one. But that's how I know. That's how I understand, like, the problems that came for me where I could not trust myself was when I was sticking to belief systems that were not working. When I was so caught up in things I had been taught and kept trying, and those things kept consistently failing, and yet I was still sticking to them. So yeah, I trust somebody who's open to learning, essentially. So I mean, like, it's funny the way that we have these positive and negative connotations of certain ideas, and sometimes they can be totally the same ideas. So if you say, oh, somebody who's open to learning, you think of that as a good thing, but then you think of somebody who's inconsistent as a bad thing. But that is the same thing, guys. That is the same thing. So yeah, I trust the inconsistent ones. And I trust myself when I'm being actually less consistent. And things work out better that way. Again, there are certain things that are more stable, that experientially are proven to be consistent. And with those things that are working, like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, keep to the things that are working and consistent. And that also can be different for different people, which is fine, right? But yeah, like, if I don't, it's really about, like, responding and flowing and doing new things. Yeah, that's what life is, guys. That's what life is. That's what living is. That's what the breath is. Yeah.